Bonjour, mes amis. How many times you were working with your BMW, especially with the E-Sys, and for example, after changing your vehicle order, adding some another options, you are thinking, okay, I have modified the vehicle order, I have saved it, but which ECUs do I actually need to code? Do I have to code the whole car or only certain ECUs? Or for example, you're making some kind of retrofit, you have done everything hardware-wise, and you're still struggling, okay, I have done the work, but software-wise, which ECUs do I need to code or to program? In today's video, we'll talk exactly about that topic. You've been asking for that video for years, and this is E-Sys for Dummies Part 6. Hi all, I'm Vladimir, you are on BIMDoc channel. Today we'll deep dive into the BMW software, more specifically E-Sys, and not only E-Sys. I'll tell you how exactly to determine after any modifications with your vehicle order which ECUs are needed to be coded. It will be super interesting. Let's go. Before going to the actual topic of current video, please pay attention. How many subscribers can you see on my channel? Yes, it is 106,000 subscribers. But can you see silver YouTube button anywhere? Me neither. It is just epic story what happened to that. At the moment I'm located in France, and just guess. Try to guess the whole story how someone managed to lost my YouTube silver button. It is hilarious story. Write your thoughts in the comments, and maybe if you have very high interest, I released a full-scale video about how it could happen here in France. In following video, I'm going to use different softwares that are meant to work with BMWs. For example, different launchers. Because my videos are not sponsored by anyone, that's why I can honestly tell you what's actually good or bad about different softwares. The only sponsors of my video are actually you, my dear friends. As you have noticed, there is an option for the paid subscription to my channel. It's just small amount, maybe like a cup of coffee a month. But if you're becoming the premium subscriber, then you'll get the earlier access to all my videos I'm releasing. Also, pay attention over here. Can you see in the comments some nicknames are highlighted with the stars? Those are meant for the premium subscribers. If you do have any question, and if you're a premium subscriber, you're asking that in my videos, I'm answering those with a higher priority and with way more details. Of course, I'm trying to answer all my subscribers because I value all your support. Thank you. As always in my videos, I prefer to have very solid structure how I'm making my videos. We will start with a bit harder approach, and then we'll go to the most easiest one. So if you are not interested in actually how the things are made inside and why those are made in the way they are made, you can just go to the last part of the video, see the timeline by the way, where I'm using the launchers for more convenience and better speed. You'll get exactly the same information. But for those of you who are actually interested about BMWs, continue. So the most common question is, after making changes in the vehicle order, by the way, if you haven't seen my previous E-Sys for Dummies manuals, especially part 1 and part 2, you absolutely must have seen those. Without those, you will not understand what I'm talking over here. So, there is vehicle order of your vehicle or whatever any other BMW, you're making changes into those. Obviously, after making the changes, you have to code some ECUs in the car. Makes sense, isn't it? The easiest way, for example, if you make any retrofit at the BMW dealer, they're using ISTA Plus to make retrofits to the BMWs. ISTA Plus will calculate automatically which ECUs are needed to be coded, and actually, in majority of the cases, the ISTA will just recode the whole car with new options. Same approach can be used with the E-Sys as well. Of course, I'll show you, but actually, it is not the most professional way to make the things. Why? Because if you recode the whole vehicle with your modified FA, you will lose absolutely every other coding you have previously made to your vehicle. That's why, yes, it is 100% solution to code all the ECUs properly, but you will lose all your previous modifications. That's why it is not the best way to do it. So, method number 1, recoding the whole car with new option. It will be like 100% solution, but you will lose all previous codings. That's why it's not recommended, but If you don't know, if you don't want to go deeper, it will be a solution for you. So how should we do that? Yes, I cannot read any vehicle order because I'm not connected to the vehicle. So this is the FA from my G30. The first thing, we need to add another vehicle option. We are going to retrofit. Makes sense. So after loading the FA, I'm pressing to edit and going to select element, and I need to add some options. Edit. The tow hitch option is 3AC. How I know that? Because I have checked that before. If you don't know what are different options, what do actually they mean, please see my previous eSys for Dummies manuals. But 3AC is the option for the tow hitch. Pressing calculate FP, just making sure it will suit my car. Going back, yes, to open the modified FA, and actually I'll just load all the ECUs. ECUs. So as you can see, I have loaded all the ECUs. There are 32 in my vehicle, and we have modified the vehicle order. Remember, we added 3AC. Let's just make it sure. So you can see 3AC, it's for tow hitch over here. And if you press on all the ECUs and press code, the whole vehicle will be recoded with a new option, and your tow hitch retrofit will be done. As easy as that, but you will lose all previous coding. That's why it's not recommended. Let's go into more details how it can be done more professionally. Method number 2 is called old school, using the ISTA and your own knowledge. When I was just starting to work with BMWs, modifying the vehicle order, the question number one I always had, okay, I have modified, but which ECUs to code? And the usual answer on all the forums is, just use your experience. It's just common sense, but you need to code those, and those. But you just cannot have the experience if you don't have that. So the old school method will be, you will modify the vehicle order exactly I have shown you before, adding that 3AC, and then you start following the logic. For example, you were doing that tow hitch retrofit, you installing that, and you were running the wires to the different ECUs. The logic will tell whatever ECU is connected through the wires, those ones have to be coded. To give you a bit better understanding, you have to open the wiring diagram system. For example, the annuities. By the way, if you don't have access to annuities on my Telegram channel, just ask the guys and they'll give you the access. So let's go to 5 series. Let's close all the advertisements. Yes, 5 series G30. I have 3-liter diesel engine. Yes, wiring diagram, and over here let's press tow for tow hitch. And we need SSP, or the wiring diagrams. You will see in a second what I am talking about. So the wiring diagrams, and over here you'll see connections to different ECUs. I'll try to find the best example that actually will suit. Yes, that one will be the good one. For example, yep. Yeah, for example, over here you can see the trailer model. It is A36. It is connected through the KCAN 2 high and low. It is connected to through the bus, for example, to the body domain control. So if the wires are running over there, so most likely, actually not most likely, but 100%, the BDC ECU has to be coded as well. Let's see other wiring diagrams. For example, actually that diagram is very good. So you can see over here, so AHM is our tow trailer hitch ECU. It is A36. You can see through the wires where it goes. It goes, of course, to the BDC. We have already figured it out, and some wires from BDC do run to the combi as well. So combi has to be coded. Also in your multimedia you should see is the tow hitch connected or not connected. That's why the multimedia has to be coded. Basically through just following all the wiring, which ECUs are connected to which, you can make some deductions which ECUs need to be coded. It is very time consuming process, and yes, but it is also a way to do that. If you will code some ECUs, you will try your retrofitted ECU, and actually you will make the diagnostics through the ISTA. You will see, okay, for example, we have coded the trailer ECU itself, the BDC body, and the combi. You're making diagnostics through the ISTA, and you will see, for example, the head unit, the NBT Evo, is complaining that, okay, I cannot communicate properly with the tow trailer ECU or whatever. Then you need to code it as well, and so on and so on and so on. So that method, that's why it's called old school. It just takes so much time, but it's also an option how to do that. I guess you got the point. As you probably understood, that method is super slow. It is a way to do if, for example, you don't have any other means. It was the method I've used previously to gain some experience, and then when you'll be working with BMWs a lot, you'll start to understand the system, which ECU needs to send what information to other ECUs, and so on, so on, so on. But yes, it is super slow method, that's why not recommended. Let's proceed with a bit more advanced techniques. Method number 3 will be with the help of plain eSys. It is also old school, hardcore, because the eSys is engineering level software. That's why it is not so user friendly. It's a bit more user friendly than DIN-KFP for the E series, but still. Actually, there are a couple another tabs inside the eSys that could be used to determine which ECUs are needed to be coded, but it is a bit even more complicated. In order for my videos to be a bit more interactive, let's play a game. If you actually do know how to determine which ECUs are needed to be coded with the plain eSys, only solo with the eSys without any additional launchers, write that method in the comments, and the first one who will give the right answer will receive some bonus from me. We'll find it out what could it be. Sounds good? The next solution I'm going to use to solve the same issue will be with the help of eSys Ultra Launcher. It is way better than all the previous approaches, but actually it is not the best one. I'll leave the best one for the end. But still, it is a very good working solution. So, after launching the eSys Ultra Launcher, there is such a tool called SVT Toolbox. Open it up. Over here, you can see the FA number 1 and FA number 2. So what we need to do, we need to have two FAs that are different by one option. So in one FA, the 3AC should be present, and in another should not be present. Then we're going to compare those two different FAs, and based on those, we will see in which ECUs which changes have to be made. So let's do it. First of all, let's open our, actually not open our FA, but correction. We need to make a copy. You can see this is my stock FA. I need to copy it and make it so it's modified and it has 3AC present. That's good. Now we need to open the same modified FA, because over here the 3AC is not present. Over here at the moment it's not present, but we have to add it. Remember? Edit. In SLAP element we have to add 3AC. You can see trailer tow hitch. Highlight it, double click and press apply. You can close it. Just to make sure, over here you should see 3AC, trailer tow hitch. It's present. Perfect. Making sure that that option is possible to be added to my vehicle. FA is calculated, everything is okay. I'm pressing save. That's good. I'll collapse. Now you'll see that I have two FAs, FA original and FA with 3AC added. This is the only difference over there. In eSys, opening our SVT toolbox, FA1, loading without 3AC and FA2 loading with 3AC. So with added option. SVT actual, you can read from the car, press read ECU if you are connected to the vehicle, or you can just load it from the file if you're working from home, for example. Okay, it's a bit corrupted file, no problem. We can choose the SVT sol as well. For that purpose, it doesn't matter. And actually, the thing we need to do, you can see FA1, FA2, and FA1 compared to FA2. And over here, if you press calculate, it will start calculation. Over here, you can see conditional or all parameters. For current purpose, it doesn't matter, but always select all parameters. Calculate. Now give eSys some time. What's actually the eSys is doing at the moment? It compares two different FAs, and it compares with which FA you have to code different ECUs with which parameters. If you don't actually understand what does it mean to code some ECU with FA, see my previous eSys for Dummies manuals, because without that it's a bit too complicated for you. But believe me, in a couple minutes you will see actually how easy is that to know which ECUs have to be coded. While we're still waiting for eSys Ultra to make its calculations, next launcher I'm going to use will be Bimmer Utility. I have actually the special video released where comparing different launchers for the eSys. If you haven't seen that, it's over there. Absolutely make sure to see it. Calculations are done. It took maybe 2 minutes, but it is way faster than making diagnostics with the ISTA, comparing all the wiring diagrams and so on as with the previous method. So what can we see over here? We can see, for example, in ACSM5 ECU, you can see no codings have to be done. Yeah, if you go, for example, for BDC ECU, by the parameters you can actually see, for example, in the BDC ECU, in that coding file, 4 parameters have to be changed. So if you go into that ECU and manually you can edit those. Remember, in FA number 2 we had that retrofitted option present. In FA number 1 we did not have it. So, and as you can see, for example, VAM trailer in second FA it is active, and in first FA it is not active. So the BDCU is the first ECU you have to code. Next one is the D combi. As you can see, with one FA or with active FA with the option present, there are some parameters that have to be activated, and with the FA where it's not present, those are not active. So it means we have to code the combi as well. Next one, engine ECU have to be coded. Then DSC or dynamic stability control, of course it have to be coded, because when you're towing something, it means there is like way more load to your transmission and to the stability control ECU. That's why car have to understand that actually there is some extra weight behind the car. That's why it has also to be coded. As you can see, no codings have to be done to the transmission ECU itself. You continue scrolling, you can see the head unit have to be coded, camera have to be coded, also the RS and SAS ECU, USS and VDP. So in total, like 7-8 different ECUs have to be coded for that retrofit to work 100% correctly. So that method not only shows you which ECUs have to be coded, it also shows which parameters have to be changed in what ECU. For example, if it is the first retrofit you're making to your vehicle, you can, yes, absolutely select every one of those ECUs and with proper FA press code to make it happen. If you have already a lot of retrofits or modifications done on that vehicle, it is not recommended to Vehicle Recode or FA code the current ECU, because it will reset everything to the factory settings. That's why going inside the ECU and making the changes manually, as I have shown you in eSys for Dummies Part 1, is way more professional, and actually in that it will be faster. And now it's time for the easiest solution available at the moment for solving current issue. And the last one will be with the help of Bimmer utility. In the video, when I was comparing different launchers, I told that Bimmer utility is standalone application. It doesn't require eSys even to be installed on your computer to work with BMWs, at least to make a couple options. It was downside, but now for that operation, that Bimmer utility standalone application, actually it's a huge advantage. You will see it in a second. As you can see, I'm not connected with Bimmer utility to the vehicle, exactly same as in previous cases. You have to go to the SVT compare in that tab on your left over here. You need to open the FA file. Remember, we had different FAs. So that FA was without 3AC or tow hitch present, and that one was with tow hitch present. You choose the original one without any retrofits, and that's why that solution is just so brilliant. Next, you need SVT file. SVT is the file where all the ECUs are present, and basically that's it. Now you have to start selecting the options that you are interested in. Let's choose exactly the same one, so it will be the more understandable. So 3AC, we're adding 3AC to our vehicle order, and down here we press compare. Now Bimmer utility on the background, actually it will compare the original vehicle order with the vehicle order where 3AC is added, so it is way faster. And on your right over here you can already see the results. Remember, for example, with eSys Ultra, we have seen that iCam, or the camera ECU, has to be coded if you're retrofitting the trailer hitch ECU. And over here, iCam has to be coded. The areas, remember, engine has to be coded, and so on. The DSC, the D-combi, remember those three parameters that have to be coded, and so on, and so on, and so on. So the Bimmer utility made it like super fast, and actually this is like really good for that. Also, you can press print, choose where to save it. For example, 3AC retrofit, press save, and that's done. On our desktop, there is txt file. It shows which ECUs, for example, the same BDC, combi, and actually even which parameters have to be coded in order for that retrofit to be successful. To be honest, the same thing can be done in eSys Ultra as well. I'm just showing it over here to save up a bit time. In today's video, we have covered how to know which ECUs have to be coded after changes in the vehicle order or after any retrofits. Basically, actual retrofit is modifying some hardware part of your vehicle and then making changes in the vehicle order, and after that coding the necessary ECUs in order to all work properly. We have covered different methods from like the hardest one to the most easiest one, and actually the last ones with the eSys Ultra and with the Bimmer utility, those are the most professional one. I always do all the BMWs that I'm making the retrofits in such way because it's just way more professional and way quicker. I guess it was super beneficial video for you. If you still haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so, and see you next time. Bye.